This is Gaming Face Punch.
The Xbox One may be getting compatibility to play the original Xbox One games. The Xbox One, the first Xbox. And Phil Spencer was on Twitter and he was asking about kind of, would you like to see this and that? So they were looking at the backwards compatibility because the Xbox 360 had backwards compatibility, even though the backwards compatibility was a little bit on the clunky side and people complained about frame rate issues and shudders and crashes and things like that. So given the fact that the Xbox One can pretend to be a 360, maybe the 360 can then pretend to be an Xbox One and maybe that will be able to run games. But given the fact that people online can build emulators for Xbox Ones for PCs and Macs and whatnot, there is a good chance that if that's compatible with Windows 10, they can lift some of those bits and pop it onto the Xbox One console, which is fantastic. This is, again, another feature. I love my features. To be honest with you, there's probably only a few games here that you go back to and revisit that haven't been either made into a HD collection or boring.
The funny thing is, and it's kind of to do with this story, is that the PS1 obviously came out before any Xbox came out, and that's the first console that me and my brother owned. So whenever it came to the decision whether to get an Xbox or a PlayStation 2, we got PlayStation 2 because we knew we weren't going to be able to afford to get many games with it. So we thought if we get the PlayStation 2, we can get rid of the PS1 and then use the games to play, we can use the PS1 games on the PS2. So backwards compatibility made me avoid the Xbox before, but I think I would get an Xbox One if this was implemented. I don't think there's enough Xbox One games that I would want to play to justify getting it as well as having a PS4. If I could play basically every Xbox game that's ever been made, I know they're not going to make everyone available, but I'm sure it would make the likes of the old Halo games. What I would rather is, instead of doing this update stuff online, and I know they're probably never going to do what I'm about to suggest, but if they would just bring out the 1 terabyte hard drive Xbox and kind of the way the PS3 was, that you could play PlayStation 2 games and One games on it, just it was built into the system. I'm not sure, I don't know all the technical stuff to do with it, but if they did that with the Xbox One, they wouldn't have the problem with licensing of certain games, because I think they have to emulate it on the Xbox, and then they can't, I think there's certain games that don't have the license to anymore. If they made the Xbox just be able to play the original Xbox games, I think they could avoid that kind of legal thing. I doubt they would ever, specifically make an Xbox to be backwards compatible. I think if they can update it, like the hardware they already have, to keep the fan base happy that have already bought Xbox Ones.
For me, having the backwards compatibility is only really important for the first 18 months of the console's life. The reason is that, as we've seen with this generation of consoles, there isn't not enough decent games around at this point in time. You're getting a few dribs and drabs here. We're starting to get the ramp up now, and next year will be really good for games and whatnot. But this is when you need that backwards compatibility. As soon as you get past this hump, that's when you can literally ditch it. And if you want backwards compatibility, you just go and buy the second-hand version of the original consoles.
Thanks so much for watching this video.
If you enjoyed it, hit that like button.
If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button.
And don't forget to comment down below.
Follow us on Twitter.
Add us on Google+.
And like us on Facebook.
And don't forget, we got a website too.